The clock on the nightstand glowed 12:17 a.m., its dim green numbers slicing through the suffocating dark of our bedroom. I lay perfectly still, feigning sleep, my back to the door, though inside I was anything but calm. For 4 endless hours, my mind had been trapped in the same merciless loop, replaying the image of headlights in our driveway. She had come home 10 minutes earlier than the time she promised, and that tiny discrepancy gnawed at me like proof carved in stone. The mattress dipped gently under her weight as she climbed in beside me. Once, that subtle shift of the bed had been the most comforting part of my day. Now it felt like an intruder slipping into a sacred space. Her quiet breathing filled the room. The faint rustle of sheets, once a song of belonging, but now an unbearable sound that grated against every raw nerve inside me. My whole body trembled with restraint, muscles locked so tightly it felt like my own skeleton might splinter under the strain. A bitter, metallic taste of rage and grief welled in my throat, forcing me to hold my breath as though even breathing beside her would contaminate me. And then it came. A sudden gasp, short, sharp and frightened, that cut through the silence. She lingered in that breath, as if time itself stalled. And I knew before I turned that she had found it. The letter. Slowly, deliberately, I rolled to face her. Moonlight slipped past the curtains, painting her face with an unearthly glow. Her wide eyes glistened, brimming with a fear I had never seen in her before. Her hands clutched a single sheet of paper, as if it were alive and ready to strike. Her lips quivered, attempting to form words, but only a tremor escaped. She lowered her gaze to the letter, the one I had poured every ounce of my broken soul into. It hadn't been a letter written in anger. There was no shouting across the page, no violent accusations. Instead, it was a quiet confession of a man hollowed out by betrayal. I wrote of the emptiness that had swallowed our home, the warmth that had once lived in these walls now replaced with a bone-deep chill. I spoke of trust shattered, of a future I could no longer imagine by her side. And at the end, a single sentence had sliced everything open. I know about him, ally. Her eyes shot back to mine, sheer panic dancing across her face. How? She whispered, voice so faint it was almost lost in the air. How did you find out? Does it matter? I asked flatly, my voice a calm so unnatural it startled even me. I had played this confrontation 100 times in my head, imagining shouting matches, tears, accusations flung like daggers. Yet when it finally arrived, I felt no heat, only a numb, steady finality. She looked back down at the page, as though it might offer her some loophole, some escape from the truth now staring her in the face. It doesn't matter, I repeated quietly. I've known for weeks, ally. The late shifts that never existed. The hushed calls. The perfume that didn't belong to you. I let it go on too long, but not anymore. It's finished. Her tears slipped silently down her cheeks, her breath stuttering as she begged. Please, Steve. Don't do this. It was a mistake. Just a mistake. The word echoed in my head, sour and poisonous. A mistake? I repeated, my tone laced with disgust. No, ally. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is locking your keys in the car. This wasn't a mistake. This was a choice you made, over and over again, each time cutting deeper into me, into us. You destroyed what we had. And now you live with what you chose. I rose from the bed. The silence between us as heavy as iron. Pulling on clothes, lacing my shoes, every movement was deliberate. She watched me with wide, desperate eyes, as though words alone could hold me back. Where are you going? She asked, her voice trembling. To see someone, I said coldly, not bothering to explain. She knew. The drive blurred into a haze of fury and pain. The headlights streaked across the road like ghosts, each mile carrying me deeper into the wound that consumed me. My grip on the steering wheel was so fierce my knuckles ached, my body vibrating with rage. When I finally pulled into his driveway, my chest burned with fire, my hands trembling with an anger I could no longer contain. He answered the door in a t-shirt and shorts, his cocky grin exactly as I had seen it in the photos she kept hidden. Younger, smug, brimming with a confidence that sickened me. Can I help you? He asked, casual, oblivious. I think you can, I said, my voice low and sharp as a blade. I'm Steve, Ally's husband. The smirk fell from his face instantly, replaced by a flicker of fear. He moved to slam the door, but I was faster, wedging my foot in the frame and forcing my way inside. Every ounce of fury I had buried surged up and spilled over. "You've been sleeping with my wife," I snarled, my voice shaking with venom. He stammered, tripping over half-formed denials, but I didn't care. I grabbed him by the collar, pulling him close so he could see the fury in my eyes. "Did you think you could just walk into another man's life, steal what isn't yours, and walk away untouched?" My words faltered then, drowned beneath the tidal wave of rage. My fists did the speaking. Blow after blow, each one fueled by months of suspicion, weeks of betrayal, nights of emptiness. My knuckles split open, slick with blood, but I didn't stop until he lay broken on the floor, whimpering like a child. I stood over him, chest heaving, unrelenting fury still coursing through me. In that moment, it felt almost righteous, like cleansing fire. But as I stepped back into the night, the cool air washing over me, I realized nothing had changed. My hands throbbed, my heart still ached, and betrayal still carved its hollow place inside me. Revenge hadn't healed me. It never could. The days that followed blurred together into a storm of lawyers, signatures, and the dismantling of a life we had once promised would last forever. Ally moved out. She called, she begged, she explained, but her voice became unbearable to me. The image of her clutching that letter, terror in her eyes, was burned into my memory as a permanent reminder of the love she had destroyed. In our small town, her secret became everyone's favorite story. Whispers chased her down grocery aisles, stares clung to her in every cafe. Her friends abandoned her, unable to shield her from the weight of her betrayal. The man she had chosen over me fared no better. Once celebrated, he became a disgrace, losing his job, his reputation, his place in the community. He couldn't show his face without shame. And me? I was the victim, the wronged husband. People offered pity, admiration, even respect. But none of it mattered. I felt nothing. My days became a hollow routine of work, bills, and obligations, my heart still bleeding beneath the surface. Years have crawled by since that night, but the wound never truly closed. Sometimes I catch myself wondering when we started to fall apart, when the laughter we once shared first began to fade into silence. But then I see her in my mind, her face stricken with fear, the letter trembling in her hands, and I know, some betrayals cannot be forgiven. Some scars will never stop aching. Would you like me to also rewrite this into an alternative ending version where Steve doesn't go violent at the lover's house, but chooses another kind of confrontation? That could give you two parallel arcs.